Let's start with the basic layout. Cars have three main parts: the engine, the transmission, and the drivetrain. This is all required to make the car go vroom. These components are blended together to make any car you see, from Honda Civic, F-150 to Lamborghini and Bugatti. Now let's go to engines. There is not much you need to know about how engine works while you are running your car. Just know that there are pistons inside your engine, they rotate, make small explosions, and boom, the car is moving. And if you really want to know how an engine works, you can always search it up and look in details. Now the real thing you need to know about engines is the basic notation. Now if you see something like this, you should be able to know what kind of engine that car has, and it's actually pretty easy. The first thing you need to know about is that of this last number, which tells how many cylinders does a car's engine have. Now this is important to know as it tells how much power a car could have and its character. Like a cheap and old Honda Civic would always have something around 4 cylinders, and a fast car, for example, Mustang could have something around 8 cylinders, and Bugatti Chiron have 16 cylinders. Now that we know how many cylinders that car has, let's look at the letter beside it, which tells the layout in which those cylinders are placed. The V here tells that cylinders are placed in a V shape, and the most common layout is probably the I shape. This is also known as inline or straight, and there are a lot of engine layouts, so you can look it up on internet. Now that you have figured out the layout and number of cylinders in the engine, you can look at the first numbers here, which tells how much space does the engine cylinder have. So if you have a 3-liter V6, that means this car has 3 liters of space combining all cylinders. So for example, in a 3-liter V6 engine, each cylinder has 0.5 liter of space to move, or 500 milliliter, or 500 cc. And that's what the cc means. It means how much space a single cylinder has to move. More the space, more bigger the combustion, more the power will be generated. And that is basically all you need to know to talk about engines, except for one thing, which is the induction type. Now most engines are what called naturally aspirated, and this means the movement of the piston in cylinders draws fresh air, in which means you have oxygen for the combustion to occur. However, there is a better way to do things, and that's by either using a turbocharger or supercharger to cram more air into the engine. More air means more oxygen, which means you can have a bigger explosion and make more horsepower. The difference between a turbocharger and supercharger is that a turbocharger uses the exhaust gases coming from the engine to spin a turbine, which compresses air and sends it to the cylinders. And on the other hand, a supercharger uses the actual turning of the engine to cram more air in it. And now you are totally certified to talk about engines with actual car people. But wait, engines are connected to something called transmission. There are two types of transmission. One is automatic and one is manual. As the name suggests, in the automatic transmission cars, the gear shifting is done by car automatically for you. So your only job is to accelerate and brake. And in manual transmission cars, you have to manually change the gear yourself. And if you are a manual driver, then you should teach an automatic driver until they kill themselves. Because basically, automatic car is for losers and manuals are for cool humans. So that's it for transmission. Now we have the engine generating the power and transmission handling it. But the car needs to move, so you have to get that power to the tires. And here's come the drivetrain. There are three types of drivetrains: front-wheel drive, back-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive. In front-wheel drive, only the two tires in the front gets the engine power. In back-wheel drive, only the back two tires get the engine's power. And in all-wheel drive, all the tires in the car gets the power of the engine. Now that we have learned about the engines, the transmission, and the drivetrain, as I said earlier, we can combine these things to make any type of car. And that's all for this video.